The title said solo PvP strategy. Basically, if it's just you and one other person, or you and a group that is very rarely on all at once, you are technically playing solo. Um, I recommend the following: one, don't build in any spot that is openly recognized as meta. You want to find out what the meta spots are? Just cruise through the latest YouTubes. Key search Conan Exiles, best places to build a PvP base. So basically, don't, if you build a single camp, if you build a structure, make sure it's up and out of the way, make sure it's small, um, big enough to like set up a kitchen for whatever it is you're going to be making at the time. I would not invest in followers. I would not invest in thralls at all, believe it or not. I have thought about buying myself a couple of fighters, but once you put something like that on the map and you don't put it somewhere where it can be away from ads and players, they're going to find it. And when they find it, they're going to kill it. And that is basically what's going to happen. So if you're building, if you're going to have a follower, I wouldn't pick any kind of animal, and I wouldn't pick any kind of, I would find some way to make them not make noise, basically, because that's what a lot of PvP players do, is that they'll walk the map with, a foundation on their hammer, looking for things that are already claimed, looking for places that can't be built in, and more importantly, listening for things like hammers or cauldrons or furnaces. Pretty much everything in this game makes a noise. Even right now as I'm talking to you, if anybody's milling around outside, they can hear my voice through their comms. My name will show up on their screen, and they will be able to follow me and find out where I am, or the fact that I am on. But they can see that anyway by just checking the player list. So that's the other thing too, is if you're a solo, don't go 30 minutes without checking the player list. If there's a group that you are dodging or evading, the moment they show up, break everything down, go find some place to hide, and just sign off. Just sign off. You can see if the number of players are on the server when you go back to the title screen. When you go back to the server select screen, you can see that. And if you see anything on that list that wasn't obviously anybody else who was on that you don't compare to, like, in other words, if it was you and two other players that were on, and then X group shows up and you sign out, you do your thing, you gather up your crap, you go find a space to hide, and you just log off. Give it about 30 minutes if you can. Check the list. If you see that the number is 0, then obviously nobody else is on. You can log back in, continue what you're doing. Another thing too is that don't do any kitchen work or crafting during raid hours, unless you are actually attacking another group. If you're attacking, then obviously you've got to set up something to help you produce whatever it is you're producing. Major tip number 1, like I said, is apart from not building out big. If you're if it's just you, building out big as a single player really just puts a target on your character. It really does, as well as building in the meta spots. But one of the more singular important parts about playing solo is being as portable and as mobile as possible. Carry around with you just the stuff you need to do the thing you're going to do in the solo game, in the PvP game. If your thing is going to be explosive arrows, then that's what you carry around. You build what you need during the day, and then come in at night and do your thing. Have a place to stash your loot while you're raiding, so that you don't die with everything on you, obviously. And again, keep that mobile as well. During the non-raid window hours, you can do whatever the fuck you want. Just be aware that if they're hunting for you and they see your spot, they'll come out in force to wait for you to come out and then jump your ass and possibly even get back into your base before the door closes. So never walk through the door without closing it behind you. Definitely. And definitely don't ever leave it open. The other thing too is that strongly recommend that in your camp, whatever camp you have a kind of an airlock. So you pop the first door or you pop the first wall, you walk in, you close that up behind you, so that if you get the outer door or outer wall, and they're standing right there waiting for you, they can't get all the way in without bombs. And if they're doing this during non-raid hours, they're not getting it at all. They'll kill you. You'll just spawn back inside your base again. At which point you can actually, believe it or not, this is another strategy that I've done, replace the solid wall that leads outside with a window, and then start shooting gas arrows out. And it will, unless they're wearing gas masks, which of course you should always have a gas mask yourself, it'll fuck them up. Again, this is another reason why you don't want to have to invest in a lot of followers or fighter thralls. Yes, they make a nice perimeter, but any PvP player worth their merit on a PvP server is going to have ways to kill those thralls, whether it be flaming arrows, exploding arrows, gas arrows, or fighters are themselves better equipped. And if you're playing as a solo player, trust me, their fighters are going to be better equipped. So, if you're playing in a solo game, you have to really rethink what your solo player PvP goals are. Mine has always just been to play the game. Be here, no matter what. No matter how many times they put me in the desert, I come right back. So long as this game allows you to keep your recipes and your skill levels and your character builds, you're not losing out. I mean, I got wiped 3 times by this group that's been on recently so far, and it's been literally a handful of days to come back. You know, I would take a day or two off after the wipe just to kind of like, you know, cool my heels, watch the server list, the server list to see how many people are popping on at a certain time. Chatting with the other groups, because that is a key thing too. Make friends. And make genuine friends. You know, don't just ally yourself with anybody out there just because you want somebody to talk to. These are people that you hopefully have played with, have done dungeons with. Because, believe it or not, a jerk can't help but be a jerk. So if a jerk is like being all nice and stuff, and they get you to, you know, come with them to a dungeon, but they don't let you join their clan, they figure, oh, it's okay, you know, just play through. A jerk will fucking kill you halfway through the dungeon or even towards the end of the dungeon, steal all your shit, and then ghost your ass. Or even worse, the jerk will, you know, ask you to consolidate with them and then kick you from the clan, and then you lost all your land claim. I've actually had that happen once. So, like I said, build light, build portable. Don't follow anything meta that's on YouTube. Think away from that. And don't carry around and build whatever. Don't accumulate more than what you absolutely need to play the game. If you're just about playing dungeons and land bosses and stuff, then you should probably be playing PvE or PvE conflict or playing offline. But if you're here for PvP, if you're actually here to do some player, you know, versus player combat, whether it be you versus door or you versus sleeper or you versus somebody else, then that's what you want to build for. And it does not matter how good your armor is. Poison-infused daggers will shred your ass. So I would say that any kind of poison that you can equip your character with is going to be better than any kind of armor that you could ever have to try to sustain them. So, yeah, I would say probably, even though myself, I have not, you know, I'm not doing this personally because this is not what I'm playing, but when I was playing the Poisoner, I made sure that I did trading with other clans to, you know, get the resources I needed to do that, and then go out and, you know, find my targets and take care of business. But I'm not doing that right now. In fact, I am just cruising the game for the most part, waiting for the groups that I play with to come back on so we can get back to playing the game again. And that's about it. So thanks for stopping by. I hope some of this inspires you to rethink your strategies if you're having problems, if you're struggling on a server. The ultimate other idea is, while server transfers, I think, are permanently disbanded, it takes absolutely nothing to rebuild your character. It really does. You can go to any other server out there, seriously. And if you are finding PvP to be that much more of a struggle simply because, then there's no harm in playing PvE or playing a solo game. You can have just as much fun in this game for that. There's enough immersion in this game to keep me entertained, and I'm pretty demanding, so there's context there. Anyway, thanks for stopping by.